Hello! Hello friends and welcome to another fourth guy in line video. This one is another collector's heaven. This is inexpensive ways to really bolster your personal space. Your nerd room, man cave, what have you. So today we're going to be doing a toy blaster refinishing, and this time we're going to be doing Princess Leia's blaster. Now, I've done a few of these blaster refinishings before, both a Nerf Stormtrooper blaster and Han Solo's DL-44 blaster. So I'm pretty comfortable with doing this, pretty excited about taking on another one, especially something as fun and slim as Leia's blaster. Now, this blaster was made by RUBIES, which is the costume company that does really well with these sorts of blasters. They've done a bunch of them. I find that RUBIES does a really great job of making inexpensive costume pieces that, with just a little bit of work, can look really, really good. So, we're going to be refinishing Leia's blaster. Pretty excited about this one. Now, this is what it looks like in A New Hope. So, blaster we're all familiar with, but we're going to make this one. Now, you don't see a lot of them out there, so I'm going to make this one look especially nice. So it comes on a card back with now the new Rebels logo on it, or semi-new, I guess. It's probably about a year and a half old now, or a year old. You see little kid in Leia cosplay, and then you see the overall blaster. So the first thing we need to do is go ahead and cut it off the card back. I will say I picked this up for $9 on Amazon. $9. And by the time we're done with it, it'll be about a $15 investment in total, and it's going to look much, much better. So just really simple. The trigger is molded. It doesn't pull. There's no action features. There's no batteries. There's nothing like that. What you do have is a very simple, easy place to start. Now, blasters that I've done before, there's been a lot of weathering. This one's probably going to fall on the less weathered side because it's a princess's blaster. And then we just got to figure out how to display it. But we've got a lot that we need to do. But in all honesty, this one's pretty simple. For starters, it's glued together instead of screwed together. So we don't really have the option of splitting it apart. So we're going to have to work with what we have. We have some seam lines we're going to have to clean up. We're very lucky that the legal gobbledygook is actually a sticker. I don't see anywhere on the blaster where there's something that's actually molded on the plastic of legal gobbledygook that we'll have to sand off, so that makes things really easy. But if you look, I mean, there's just a lot of detail, wheels and stuff and little knurled knobs, and I think it's going to look really good. So we're going to do this one upright, and I think it's going to look really nice when we're done. Very simple, very inexpensive, and I think these things really add to the decor in a room. Especially if you take your time, do it right, and it's really just inexpensive. But yeah, really, really excited about this. So let's take it out to the workshop and get started. Okay, so before we get to primering, we're going to have to do a couple of things, including take off this sticker. Again, we're happy about the sticker because the sticker means that we do not have to sand off any text. So pretty happy about that. Now I've got 120 grit sandpaper here. We're just going to use that to scuff down a little bit of the high points on the seams. Like this seam's a little high. Seams all around are a little high, so we're just going to do something to knock those down. Just to save us a little bit of work later on. So just take your time, don't get too aggressive with it, and sand down those seams. Okay, so I've hit it with the 220, the 120 first, and then the 220. And if you look at the back, we've got a nice smooth line there. In fact, I did find some hidden text here, but it's all gone. Very easy to sand that off. So the next step before we primer it, and really we were just sanding down the high points and stuff to make it easier here in a little bit when we actually try to hide those seams. So The next step is to wipe it down and get it ready for primer. I generally use these little alcohol wipes. For bigger projects, I'll use paint thinner, but these little medical alcohol wipes, like you find in a first aid kit, do a wonderful job of cleaning up a surface and getting it ready. So let me wipe this whole thing down. All right, now that it's wiped down, it's time for us to start looking at primering it, at least doing the first coat of primer so we know exactly what we're dealing with. All the colors in the plastic, it's really hard to know what you're dealing with until you give it that first coat of primer. So what we're using is the Tamiya Fine Surface Primer L. It goes on light gray, so it's very easy to see. And I have to say, I've used this for 1,000 different projects. It just works really, really well. It's not super expensive. You can get it on Amazon, at your local hobby shop. It's just very easy to find and it works fantastic. So I'm just gonna give it a good shake. And then we're gonna get ready to apply it. Now when we apply the paint, broad, even strokes, you wanna overshoot it on both sides. You don't want any heavy pooling areas. Now this is just the first coat, so we're gonna put it on pretty light because what we're just trying to find out now is how much work we have to do to hide those seam lines. So, just and that's the first coat. Coming at it from the other side just to even things out a little bit. And then we're gonna let that dry and then do a couple more coats, and then of course we'll have to do the other side. So just take your time, be patient with it, use as many coats as is necessary, and then you'll have a nice clean slate to start from.